Welcome to the West Ham Voice. Thank you for joining me. We thought that the transfer window for West Ham United was over, but with all the rumours knocking around since the signing of Lucas Paqueta, there might be a little bit of last-minute business to be done, and it's more about a one-in, one-out sort of scenario than anything else, because we're hearing stories that we may lose Craig Dawson and quite possibly Manuel Lanzini with the latest stories that have come out this week. And if we do, it's quite likely that David Moyes will want to replace like for like. There are one or two other stories knocking around as well, but I'll come to those in a moment. But first of all, let's go to Craig Dawson. Look, it's been rumoured throughout the whole of the summer that Dawson was kind of likely to want to leave. He still lives up north. He wants to be closer to his family. He thought he was going to come to West Ham United for a loan, and all of a sudden it turned out to be a very successful career. We know what he's done. He's been an absolute rock. He's proved all the doubters wrong, including myself. I remember when we signed him, we were like, what are we doing? Why are we signing a player of this sort of level? We didn't think much of him, but he's been an absolute stalwart. 74 appearances, 8 goals and 2 assists. You know, he's played his part in the Premier League. He also played his part in the Europa League as well. But the player wants to leave. There are a couple of reasons, like I said. One, because he wants to move further north. And also, he's looking at 32 years of age. He's looking at his career, and he probably would rather have a slightly longer-term contract. He's only got the year left this season left with West Ham United. And if he can secure maybe a 2 or 3 year contract elsewhere, then that would be good for the player himself. So, and there are teams interested. Apparently, Wolves, Aston Villa and Leicester are all sniffing around the player, with Aston Villa rumoured to have made a 2-year contract offer to the player. But his preference apparently is to go to Wolves. So I think we will have to just see how it pans out over the next day or so. I'll get to the players that we're linked with that could replace Dawson. And then Manuel Lanzini. Now, this has been a weird one. It's been an on and off kind of scenario for Lanzini because we were told in the summer that we were going to trigger the 2-year extension on his contract in order to keep him at the club beyond this season. And then we heard that today if the player can find another team, then West Ham are likely not to stand in his way, which I find a little bit odd, to be quite honest with you. Look, he's been with us for a number of years, 208 appearances, 29 goals, 27 assists. He's played in a slightly different role over the last, since he's been back from his bad injury, where we've seen him at times drop a little bit deeper alongside either Souček or Declan, being a bit of a deep playmaker, etc. But then, is that why we're looking at maybe allowing him to leave? You know, the Vanacken deal or the Vanacken stories are still lingering. And could it be that David Moyes decided that Vanacken would be a much more effective playmaker than Lanzini is? Right. So, I mean, they've both been seen in training today for the game against Spurs in the evening. So they're still there. They're still, part of the squad, etc. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 24 hours. We've got till Thursday night, 11 p.m. until the transfer window shuts. So I guess quite a lot can happen between now and then. So what about the players that are rumoured to be linked to us to replace both Craig Dawson and Lanzini? And like I said, if we do allow these players to go, it will be literally one in, one out. There are other players I'm going to talk about in other positions, but let's just focus on Craig Dawson and Lanzini for now. So Jan Bednarek of Southampton, centre-back. Apparently Southampton are willing to let the player leave, possibly on a loan. And it's rumoured that we have an interest in him. And of the various centre-back stories that we're linked to, it looks like Bednarek is maybe the one that's the strongest. 26 years of age, valued at around £15 million. We're looking for the potential of loaning to buying. And look, Premier League experience, Polish international as well. He's at the right age. And I'm going to get to his stats in a minute and compare them to that of Dawson's and the other players that we're linked to. Jannik Vestergaard of Leicester, contracted with them till 2024, 30 years of age. He hasn't played much for Leicester last season. He was more of a backup for the club. And even though they've got their problems at centre-back, they're looking at the potential of allowing him to leave the club. It's unknown if we're looking at to either buy the player or to loan him. That part of the story is not quite clear. And people are speculating, especially what we did with Craig Dawson, or what David Moyes did with Craig Dawson, that Vestergaard could come to West Ham and his career could be resurrected again. Look, a Danish international as well. So he's another option. And the other rumour that came about on Tuesday night is Nico Elvedi of Borussia Mönchengladbach. Contracted to the German club till 2024, valued at around £15 million and 25 years of age. Apparently, we've submitted a bid for him. We've submitted an offer for the player. And I would only imagine that would be an offer to buy outright. He can play at centre back. He can also play at right back, and he's very comfortable on the ball, a good passer of the ball, very comfortable in possession, and he's a Swiss international. So they're the three options. But how do they compare to Craig Dawson and the season that he had last season? Look, I'm looking at last season's league stats rather than the whole season. So please, bear that in mind. So last season, Craig Dawson played the most of all the players, but Elvedi and Bednarek both had full seasons. And as I said earlier, Vestergaard is the only player that had kind of a bit part role last season. In terms of goals scored, Bednarek has got the 4 goals in the Premier League. Now, for pass attempts, Elvedi is by far the better player for pass attempts, passes attempted, and also for pass accuracy. A 92% pass accuracy rate is pretty special. In terms of tackles made, the average number of tackles made, again, Elvedi comes out tops on that. And in terms of aerial duel success, that goes to Bednarek, and ground duel success goes to Vestergaard. But you've got to sort of think about that carefully. As I said, he only made 10 appearances last season. So if you look at the next player for ground duel success, it's Elvedi again. And then a combination of clearances, interceptions and blocks, etc. And Bednarek again looks like the better of those three. Of those 4. So in general, if we were going to look at buying or loaning a player to replace Dawson, I would look at either Bednarek or Elvedi. I think the Vestergaard option, you could argue that we've already got 4 centre backs at the club, and Vestergaard would probably be 5th choice when everybody is fit. But I'm not so sure. I think if Moyes is looking at the future, then Elvedi or Bednarek would be much better options in terms of their age, in terms of their ability, what they did last season, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of days to see whether we are going to replace Craig Dawson with one of those options. Right. What about midfield? Well, look, the Hans Vanacken stories are still lingering, even though I've said recently the player said it wants to join West Ham. News has slowed down a little bit since the signing of Paqueta. But if we allow Lanzini to go, I can see Vanacken being quite a decent sort of alternative. Look, they're the same age. Happy birthday, Vanacken. He turned 30 only recently. They're the same age, but I think Moyes might see Vanacken as being a better playmaker with his goal tally and his assist rate. We know, we've seen his record, and he could be a pretty shrewd signing. And even though he is the same sort of age as Lanzini, maybe Moyes is looking at this player as being a much better alternative, perhaps. And then, of course, there's the rumour that we're interested in Seko Fifana of Lens, contracted with the club till 2024, valued at around about 20 odd million pounds, 27 years of age. He's the Lens captain. He played against us in pre-season. He did really well in pre-season. He's the engine of that midfield for the French club. He's also another playmaker. But look, this is what I'm trying to work out, because we knew that Moyes wanted Onana, a defensive midfielder. But now there's an awful lot of story about having another sort of playmaker-ish role. And this is why perhaps the Lanzini stories might have some legs. If we're looking at either Vanacken or Fofana as a replacement, then you could see that there'll be quite a lot of competition there, and maybe Lanzini might be pushed down the pecking line a bit. Look, he's a decent player. He started at Lorient in the youth ranks. In his time there, he went out on loan to Fulham and Bastia, and then he moved to Man City. Sorry, from Lorient. And in his time at Man City, he went out on loan to Fulham and Bastia, and he spent. Then he went on a permanent signing in 2016 to Udinese and spent 4 seasons there, making 119 appearances. And then he returned to France, to Lens, where they paid £7.5 million for him. And he's done really rather well. He's, he had a modest time at Udinese, but he's done an awful lot better at Lens. And like I say, he's their engine. He makes things tick in the middle of the park. But if we've got Paqueta in, do we need another player alongside him? I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe Paqueta will be used further forward, and maybe Moyes is still looking at the possibility of having some alternative alongside Declan in the season ahead. So maybe someone like Fofana and maybe someone like Vanacken could be the players that Moyes is looking at. There are other players. Now, we've heard Ross Barkley, of course. He's now a free agent. He was on £100,000 a week with Chelsea, but now he's free to sign with any other club. Look, we know about his injury record. We know it's not great. But Moyes mentioned him, didn't he, in his press conference the other day, in the press conference for the Spurs game. Would he be worthy of? Would he be worth a risk? Given now that he's a free agent, there's no fee to pay for him. Something would have to be done about his wages. I don't think Moyes would relish bringing the player in at £100,000 a week if that's what the player's looking for. And the rumours are still knocking around with Conor Gallagher. Apparently we're still interested in the player, and we're looking at the potential of a last-minute loan deal for him. Look, he's been part of the Chelsea squad all season. I know he got sent off in the last game, but he's been in each senior squad for the last first 4 games of the season. He's had 2 starts as well. Look, another creative midfielder, another decent playmaker in the middle of the park. He's certainly someone that we'd be interested in, but it would be more of a loan than anything else. And then finally, a little bit, moving away from central midfield and central defence, is the story with Aaron Wan-Bissaka again, we're rumoured to be interested in the player. Look, he hasn't had a great time at Man United, but we're interested in a loan bid. And apparently Man United are looking at the possibility of getting a replacement for him. And they're eyeing up Barcelona defender Serginho Dest. And if they get him, then maybe Wan-Bissaka might be available on a loan. I said the other day when I talked about Wan-Bissaka, the one thing that's a bit of a hurdle for us is his 90-odd grand a week wages. I don't think West Ham United will want to pay that much for him on loan. He will definitely offer us something as an alternative, without a doubt. He can play as a wing back, which is good. And if David Moyes will want to play that sort of wing back role in certain games, then you could look at Emerson on one side and someone like Wan-Bissaka on the other. Look, at 24 years of age, he's still he's still young. He's still a very good player. He could be the successor to Soufal, who has been a great player for us. But I think when we're looking at playing a wing back role, Soufal doesn't always really fit that, and nor does Johnson. And whereas Wan-Bissaka will certainly do so. So if there's something to be done, it'll be more a loan deal than anything else. Right, that's the update for you. Thank you all for watching. Much appreciated. I'll be back again with other shows, especially on Thursday when it's the final day of the transfer window. I said I'll do a transfer window deadline day special. I don't know what time I'll go on, but I'll let you all know. I may also come back and do a very brief preview of the West Ham Spurs game. So do look out for that before I make my way to the stadium itself. Much appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.